everybody's showing up in Indianapolis for the combine, and it feels like with it is coming NFL news. 2 quarterbacks have been released. Atlanta's releasing Marcus Mariota, and Washington is releasing Carson Wentz. Now, I think you know the formula of the Carson Anderson program. How does it impact us? Well, how about a backup in Detroit or the other one for a backup in Detroit? Would you want Marcus Mariota or Carson Wentz as a backup here in Detroit to Jared Goff?
Well, let's start with this. If we think the Lions are going to be better this year and contend for the division, which I do, I do think that's going to be the case, then you're going to want a capable and competent backup. No offense to Nate Sudfeld, but there are better options out there. And I think the drop-off from Jared Goff to Nate Sudfeld would be massive. So should they consider taking one of these quarterbacks that has started a ton in the NFL? Yeah, they should consider both of them. I feel like Carson Wentz is a bit lost at this point. I think he was starting to feel it at the end of his run in Philadelphia, and then he's had a couple other stops. It just hasn't worked for him. I'd rather go with Mariota, more athletic. It's kind of a change up a pitch when you come to, if Goff were ever to get hurt, you have to go with somebody else. You got to prepare completely differently. Out of those two, that would be the one I would lean towards.
Well, I want Carson Wentz, and I want him so that the Lions will have the first 2 picks of the 2016 draft being their quarterbacks.
Oh, well, there's a good reason. Look at that.
Which I'm not sure that's ever happened before. Quarterbacks go 1 and 2, and they end up on the same team. Now,
probably has not happened. That's a great question, and I'm going to guess it has not happened.
If Troy Weaver were the GM, he'd do it.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, let's stock up on the 2016 draft.
So Carson Wentz is going to be 31 next year. He has started 92 games in the NFL. His career record.
Wait, he's going to be how old?
31.
How come he's so much older than Goff?
It was after his minor league baseball career.
Look at you running.
I completely made that up. I don't know. He came out the same year. He was a North Dakota State guy. So Goff probably came out a year early, right?
Yeah, I think he played 3 years, but still.
And Wentz came up 2 years late.
That's what it must have been.
Wow.
I mean, kind of. I have to find out his college stats, follow his college career, and just see if there was a pause in there anywhere. Anyway, Carson Wentz will be 31 next year. He's got 92 career starts. He's played in 93 games. His career record is 46, 45, and 1. Marcus Mariota will be 30 next year. He's got 74 career starts, 87 games, and his career record is 34 and 40. There are different skill sets. Mariota had a knee, which cost him a season.
Yeah,
I know you love that. See, it's funny because I want the quarterback that runs the same offense. I don't want the quarterback that is the change of pace guy.
I understand.
Because it's not like a relief pitcher. I only want to go to him when you need it. And if you have a similar skill set to the starter, and that's more Wentz than Mariota.
Yeah, well, there's no question Wentz is more like Goff than both statues. I don't want another statue.
See, for me, the backup, and I understand what you're saying, Doug. I'm not completely against that. It makes sense.
Yep.
But for me, in this situation, I'd rather have Mariota because you're not leaning on this guy to play 8, 9, 10 games. If you have to come in for a game or two, I like the fact that he can improv if needed because he hasn't been getting first team reps, so he knows the playbook. But if things break down, he's got the mobility to be like, all right, well, I'm just going to take off for like 3 or 4 yards here. So in this situation, and the fact that it is Mariota and I like him, I'd prefer Mariota over Wentz. But either one, I think you'd be lucky to have one of these two as your backup quarterback in this league. It's hard to find a good backup.
Yep. So which you want?
Mariota.
So 2 Mariotas, 1 Wentz. 248-539-9797. Do you know who went 5th in that draft?
26.
Is another quarterback?
Someone on the Lions, I bet you. It's the only reason why Doug has to bring it up, right? Did the Lions draft 5?
No. Jacksonville did. And they took a cornerback.
Jalen Ramsey?
Jalen Ramsey went 5th in that draft.
Oh, future Lion. Yes. Full circle.
He is Troy Weaver.
Yes, Troy Weaver just called up Brad Holmes. You know what to do.
He's Troy Weaver because we've given him 2 players he hasn't even taken yet.
They can end up with Goff, Wentz, and Jalen Ramsey. Picks 1, 2, and 5. I doubt they can get Joey Bosa, who went 3rd. Is there any chance Dallas will make a cap move and move on from Ezekiel Elliott? Would he make sense in Detroit? They could have 1, 2, 4, and 5 from that draft.
Well, they definitely could release Zeke.
Yeah.
Because they got Pollard over there.
No, I jest, but
and the Lions need a running back.
They do. I mean, ideally, the quarterback room next year is Jared Goff, veteran backup, Wentz or Mariota being an example, and drafted quarterback, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking.
We've been agreeing on this for like 2 months now. I like the idea.
We could debate what draft pick that should be. You know, what draft pick they should invest in that. But that's the ideal quarterback room next year, isn't it?
Yes.
And then the simple economics of supply and demand, the supply just got bigger.
Well, yeah, and the backup quarterback is now it's become a position where you really have to put a resource into it. You can't just throw out there a David Blau or a Tim Boyle or Nate Sudfeld. You got to step it up and actually get somebody.
Yeah. Now, the question, we like Derek Carr, when he was going to get released, we're like, all right, well, he's going to be looking for a starting job.
Yeah.
He's not coming to Detroit to be a backup unless he has no other options, which he will. Do Wentz or Mariota get a chance to start anywhere?
No.
I think Wentz has worn out his welcome at too many places at this point.
Marcus Mariota's not a starter.
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz definitely, his career is just down the tube. It doesn't mean he still can't do some things. Even against the Lions last year, he did some things in the second half. He was playing. He's a tough guy to bring down, but he's just not what he was. I don't think he plays with the confidence that he has, and it's not there. But there are going to be other guys that are kind of like that. Like, is Jameis Winston going to start for anybody? Is he a starting quarterback in the league?
I don't think so.
So is that another guy that goes in that group? You know, what happens with Daniel Jones?
They're going to have to get a guy, too, that fully wants to be a backup. Like, accepting of that role, embracing that role, not going to be a distraction in any way. What is the personality? I think the personality matters a lot to Holmes, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell.
Your love of football and all matters.
Yep. And at this point, that's where I'd worry a little bit about Wentz. I'm not sure Wentz fits that mold. It seems like Wentz might be
he may also be accepting of it now. I mean, his best opportunity was in Philadelphia, although maybe he's probably got a giant chip on his shoulder, kind of like Goff did.
He could.
and still wants that chance, but who's going to give it to him?